Hey, I'm Jack Chapple. Welcome back to the Jack Chapple Show. Today we're going to be talking about credit scores and credit card limits and how you can build up your credit score and how to increase your credit card limit. So let's get started. $670. Does anyone know what that number represents? Ooh, I just hit my microphone. Well, that number represents the average credit score for the average working American adult. That's actually a lower number than I would have thought. Do you know what the average credit score is for someone that's 23 years old, like myself? I'll give you a guess here. Here's my answer. 630. 630 is the average credit score for a young person out there, between the ages of 20 and 25 years old. Now, anyone want to guess what my credit score is? I'm going to brag a little bit here. 800, which is pretty good. So I kind of know what I'm talking about. I've been very good with my credit in the past 5 or so years, and I'm going to give you guys how my tips of how I was able to get my credit so good and how I was able to get a big bump in my credit card limit by accident. I should tell you guys that story first. So why am I making this video? Come with me, camera. I am making this video because a few days ago, I was calling to get a new credit card because I had to give some of my credit card information over the phone to UPS actually. And they're so sketchy, by the way. You can't even pay UPS online, at least from where I was or the package I got. I had to call them up. I gave them my information over the phone, but they were really sketchy. I couldn't really understand them. So after I called them, I saw that my credit card had the exact amount deduction for what I had to pay them. It was $135 or something like that. But I called up my credit card company right away, and I got a new credit card because I just wanted to cancel mine, and yeah, I just didn't want to give away my personal information. And so they said, yeah, we'll give you a new credit card. By the way, Jack, you're able to increase your credit card limit to about $10,000. And you're also able to get our platinum card too. Do you want that? And I was like, oh, that sounds good. I asked about the fees for the platinum card, and it's $400 a year, and it's not worth it for me right now. So I'm stuck with my old non-platinum card. But my credit limit went up to $10,000, and this all happened within about a year span of me graduating from university. Actually, you know what? Here's what we should do. I should give you tips from here, from this whiteboard right here. So one of the things you can do, which is actually kind of strange, is that going to university can actually bump up your credit score. And graduating with a bachelor's degree, a lot of universities communicate with the credit bureaus, and that can, right after you graduate and pick up your diploma, I haven't done that yet, but right after you graduate, you'll see a slight bump in your credit score because they believe that anyone that graduates from university has a good financial outlook and will probably be good to lend money to in the future. So if you have a 630 credit score right now and you're in fourth year university, it should go up to about 640 or 650 just immediately after you graduate. It's kind of cool. Actually, I have another number for you guys here. I want you to guess what this number represents. $3,300. What do you think that represents? That is the average credit card limit of the working adult in America. To give you an example, so the average credit limit is $3,300 for the average American working adult. And what's their average credit score? It's 670. And so this person would typically make somewhere around, $40,000 a year, $40K a year, and is probably about the age of 35 years old. So if you are doing better than that and you're younger and you're 23 like I am and kind of rocking it, then you're doing pretty good. Oh, this lighting is weird. The sensitivity is weird. So if you're doing better than that, then good for you. So what are some things you can do to increase your credit limit? We're going to tackle that one first, credit limit. And then we'll go to credit score. So, but they're kind of, if you want to increase your credit limit, it'll also increase your credit score, and your credit score will also let you increase your credit limit. So these kind of go hand in hand. But one of the first things you can do to increase your credit limit is to just call up your credit card company and ask. That's one of the basic things you can do. Just going up and asking. Now, saying that they won't, if you have a $1,000 credit card limit, or let's just say $2,000 credit card limit, they're not going to bump you up to $5,000 over the phone or just because you ask. You know, unless something changed in my life, like I hadn't contacted my card company in over a year, and then they just, over the phone, they just offered me, you know, thousands of dollars and more credit. So I was like, oh yeah, okay. But you could ask, you know, if you have that $2,000 limit and not much has changed in your life, you can ask for, hey, can I have an extra $500 or $1,000 on this? And they might give it to you. Now, some are going to be kind of weary about it, especially if you're not good with your money, but we're going to get to that in a second. But yeah, just by simply asking, that can increase your credit card limit by $500 to $1,000. And having that increase can actually be really good for your credit score in the long run. Hang on with me for a second here, because there is this thing called the utilization rate, which is has to do with your debt to balance ratio. So give me a second here. Let's turn those bad boys on. Yeah, okay, that's much better. So let's just say you have a $1,000 credit card limit. We're just going to do a really, really rough example here. Remember, this is called the utilization rate. So you have a $1,000 credit limit per month. They like to see that you don't take out more than about $200 of this in unpaid balance per month. So doing the math here, they like having a utilization rate of about 20 to 30% actually. So if you have a $1,000 limit on your credit card, don't go more than $200 or $300 per month in an unpaid balance. Now, saying that, there's actually a way to get around that. One thing you can do, which really, really helped me increase my credit score, was every single time, actually, no, let's go back a little bit. One thing that helped was that nearly every single purchase I make is with my credit card now. This is anything from food to business expenses to whatever. I keep all my receipts and I pay with it with my credit card. And I know a lot of the times I say don't use a credit card and stuff, but that's because a lot of people are just really, really stupid and don't pay it back. But what I do is right after I spend something, if I spend $50 at the grocery store, within 48 hours, I'm putting $50 towards my credit card. So usually I do it within 2 or 3 days. So I pay off my credit cards just on my phone, probably 2 to 4 times per week. And that's one of the things that creditors like to see, is that I'm continuously paying back all the money I borrow like right away. So that's actually one of the biggest tips I could give you is keep using your cards, but just make sure to pay them off right away. Like, don't wait for the end of the month. And here's another thing too, is that when you use a credit card, I kind of have this saying that the best way to increase your credit limit is to not need a credit limit. It means that you know how much that you can spend per month. You have a good budget. You don't go max out your credit cards. You never, ever, ever, ever spend more money than you have in the bank. So it's like another saying I have, if you don't have the money, you don't have the money. So if you only got $1,000 in the bank and you have a $2,000 credit card limit, don't go out and spend $1,500 on your credit cards. Even if it's just to pay rent. Find another way to make money. Become an Uber driver. Do some sort of part-time job, make YouTube videos, and try stocks. I don't know. Just do something to make that $500 to pay rent. Don't put that on your credit cards. That's going to hurt you in the long run. Now, for food and stuff, I would consider that a little bit different. Like if you need money for food, then okay, but you should probably be on welfare, or you should, control your spending better or control your expenses, because that's just a whole different level that you're gonna have to go talk to Dave Ramsey about that if you are needing to use your credit cards to pay for food. So go check out his channel for that. But one of the reasons why I was able to get the large credit increase, and I don't know what my credit score was last year or 2 years ago. I never checked it. I guess it was somewhere around between 650 and 750, just random guess. But I think one of the reasons why I was able to bump all the limits up and all that was because they will increase your credit limit if you don't need credit cards, kind of thing. Like if you're good with your money, if you're making a lot of money, you're saving up, you're doing all these financial things correctly, they'll be like, okay, this person's a safe spender, a safe saver, he's making a lot of money. We can allow him to borrow more because we know that he's going to pay it back in the long run. That's actually something else that I like to talk about, is that put yourself in a lender's shoes. What if you had to give someone $500? What if you had to give someone $1,000? What would make you trust them more? Okay, let's just say you have $1,000 in the bank and you have to lend it to someone, and you don't have a lot of money. Let's just say you have $5,000 and you can lend $1,000 to someone else. This $1,000 is like a baby to you. You only want to give it to someone else, or let them take care of it if they're going to give it back to you in a month or whatever, 2 months or a year, whatever. What would make you trust that person more with that $1,000? And what would make you be more convinced that they will pay you back? So we already covered income. If you're gonna let someone borrow this $1,000 and they make $10,000 a month, you're probably gonna trust them more than someone who only makes $1,000 a month. But a big thing here is actually is track record. That's another thing that we got to talk about. So track record and building a credit early. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story here about my parents, actually. So, I was kind of proud that I was able to, have a $10,000 credit limit at the age of 23 and I was able to have a 800 credit score. And so I went to go tell my parents about that because it was an accident. I didn't apply for more credit. It just kind of happened. And so, for those of you that don't know, my dad's paralyzed, and when I was growing up, my parents were really, really rich until I was about 8 years old, and then my mom quit her job to take care of my little brother, and then my dad ended up having a stroke, and so we went from them making collectively like 400 grand a year as a family to zero, to zero income. And so I got to experience both sides of that. But anyways, when we were balling when I was a kid, my dad told me recently that they had credit card limits in the early 2000s of over $30,000 per credit card. And they had multiple. 30 grand a month. That was absolutely insane. So he put me to shame. But one of the reasons why they have a higher limit was not necessarily because they made tons more money than I am right now, but it's because they had that limit when they were about 40 years old. So they had a history of about 22 years of using credit cards, paying back mortgages, paying back auto loans and leases. So one of the things that banks and credit bureaus like to look at is just track record. Over the last 7 years or whatever, 7, 10, 15, 20 years. Actually, there's a guy outside there that actually looked like one of my old bosses. I was going to say hi to him, but it wasn't him. I thought he was going to walk in here. How'd you find me? Anyways, building up a good track record of paying consistently over time, paying back your debts over time, one of the best things you can do. So if you're 18 years old and you don't have a credit card right now, go and get a $500 credit card, start using it and pay it back right away. And it's super easy. Like, you can go on your phone right here. Like, I have my apps right here. I have my apps on my phone. Right after I buy something, I just pay it back on my phone right away or within a day or two. And that's what you guys should do. A lot of high school people and college people listening, get a credit card, $500, spend $100 a month or $200 a month on it, pay it back right away, and over the course of 5 years, like I did, you could have a really good credit score. Like, I don't want to say I'm lucky, but I am really, really far ahead compared to most people my age. And I think it's because of those decisions I made when I was 18 years old, the decision to go take that corporate job, to not go out to bars and go over my credit limits. And all that just kind of adds up over 5 years. And then, obviously increasing my income. And it all just adds up over the years. And now credit bureaus trust me. So you got to build trust. That's one of the last points I said. Just building trust over time is one of the best things you can do to build your credit score. Now, there's actually a few more things I want to mention. I'm not sure if I actually mentioned these because I'm just kind of rambling right now, but I wrote them down. So if you want to increase your credit limit, you can actually just ask. I think I mentioned that one already. So just ask for them to increase it by $500 to $1,000. And they might do it, they might not, but it's worth a shot. And that can eventually decrease that utilization rate that we talked about. So if you have a $1,000 credit limit right now and you're spending $300 per month, if you increase that credit limit to $2,000 but keep spending $300 per month, that's going to decrease your utilization rate from 30% to 15%. It's going to go down from 30 to 15, which can be good in the long run for your credit score. So some other things too. Let's see, I talked about start building your credit early. Oh yeah, paying taxes on time. Apparently that's something that can happen, and if you don't pay your taxes on time, then it can actually hurt your credit score. I didn't know that. Increase your savings. I think we talked about that. If you have a lot of money in the bank, the example I like to use, I don't know if I used this one already, but if you have $500,000 in the bank, banks would be comfortable with you borrowing $5,000 per month. But if you only have $1,000 in the bank or $500 in the bank, then banks aren't going to trust you borrowing $5,000 per month, regardless of your income. So that's something you guys can think about. It's kind of like taking out equity in your savings, I guess, in a way. That's weird. Oh yeah, another thing too is using a variety of credit sources. So A lot of credit bureaus, they like to see that you don't just have credit cards, but you also have a mortgage, and you also have an auto loan. Now, you guys know how I feel about auto loans. I believe that you should not get auto loans ever, unless it's for work. But if you do have an auto loan, and you've paid that back, and you have a mortgage, and you've paid that back, and you have credit cards, and you pay all those off, then you're going to have a really good credit score. You have 3 different sources, and that's good. Now, saying that, if you have a mortgage, an auto loan, and a credit card, you're probably not going to be able to increase your credit limit anytime soon. But it'll increase your credit score, so that's good. In the future, once you pay all those debts off, credit bureaus are going to trust you more, and credit card companies are going to trust you more. So that's something you can do. Take out multiple sources of credit and multiple sources of debt. Let's see, do I have anything else in here? Oh yeah, one thing I would just want to mention too, this was actually from advice from my parents, and I didn't think that this was true until I looked it up. So if you have one credit card right now, I have one, and you apply for one more credit card, and you apply for one extra one, so you'll have 2. What'll happen is that temporarily your credit score is going to go down by very, very small amounts, like 5 or 10 points. But if you use that and pay it off, it'll actually increase your credit score in the long run. So if your credit score is 630, you get a new credit card, it's going to go down to 625 or 620. And if you pay it back everything on time, it's going to go up to 640 or 645 or something like that. So that's something you can do. Now, saying that, if you take out, I don't know, if you apply for 5 credit cards at the same time, that's going to kill your credit. I've actually seen that happen. So banks don't like to see that you are just immediately looking for a lot of credit for some reason. They're going to think that you're looking to take all this money and you're probably going to lose it or something, or maybe you're going broke or something like that. That's going to hurt your credit score. So only apply for one credit card at a time, but you can apply for more than one over the course of, I don't know, 3, 6 months, a year, something like that. So if you're going to get more credit cards, just make sure you don't do it all at once, because credit bureaus and credit card companies don't like that whatsoever. So I think that's going to wrap this video up. By the way, I was walking around for no reason at all there, but I think I gave you guys some good tips there. So I guess to kind of summarize, now, the number one thing you can do actually is probably to increase your income. That's going to help you more than anything. But pay back all your debts on time and in full. Try to take out multiple credit sources. Build up your savings. Make sure you don't have a utilization rate of more than about 30%. And start building credit right now. I mean, if you don't have a credit card right now and you're 18 years old, just go get one and just be good with it, though. Don't get a credit card if you're going to be a dumbass with it, like I know some of you probably are. But go get one if you don't have one, and spend, even if it's $10 a month or something, just spend and pay it back, and that'll even help a little bit. And then it'll get you going about how a credit card actually works and all that kind of stuff. So that's the advice I got for you guys. Hopefully that helps, and hopefully that this video wasn't too much motion like Cloverfield. I don't want you guys to get sick. So I'd like to thank you very much for watching. You are all very beautiful people. I'll see you guys in the next video.